Hello everyone, this is Kent Smith and I am here to talk to you about Spongelab Interactive. I have chosen this particular website because it contains a variety of interactive tools, lessons, lesson plans, games, and just a wide variety of information that you can use to integrate into your classroom and reinforce the learning that you're doing with your students. So I intend to use this to reinforce some of the concepts that we're going over in class and to give my students a better visual representation of the material. Because sometimes when you're looking at it in a book or you're reading about it, it's hard to really understand the three-dimensional space that some of this stuff takes up, especially when we're talking about like a cell. So yeah, let's start. So when we're on the Spongelab website, we can come down here and log in, and you can use your Google account. Now, I've already set up some tabs because this takes a little bit of time to load and I don't want to waste some time. So once we log in, this is what it looks like. This is what your home page looks like. Like I said before, there is a large amount of information here, but what I am primarily looking at is I'm going to look at the browse button because I want to go into the interactives. You can always search. If I wanted to bring something up in particular topic and see what they have, I could search right there. But I know that I want to look through some of the interactive stuff and show that to you. So once I click on browse, it will bring up this little explorer tree here, and you can always take it if you need to do something and you want to make sure that something's available in another language. You can filter it by language or the subject or whatever you need to do to kind of bring that down. Alright, so we look at the tree and it expands. So right now it's on graphics, and you just kind of, as you scroll through, you can see a large number of graphics. By the time you think you're at the bottom of the list, it just refreshes and keeps giving you more. So there is a lot of information here. This is what I'm primarily interested in, and I'm looking at all of these different games and simulations. We're going to look at two of them. We're actually going to look at the build a body, and we're going to look at build a cell. Alright, so there's a wide range. Like I said before, there are lessons and lesson plans. So you can see that there's a wide range of those as well. So a lot of information here, but I am going to primarily concentrate on games and simulations. So the first one we're going to take a look at is build a cell so that we can see how this actually works. Now we can choose up here, we can choose what type of cell we want to work on. Bacteria, fungal cell, animal cell. So I'm going to choose an animal cell so you can see it. And I'm going to work through and just start dragging stuff in as we start building this cell. So some of the pieces will go straight in that get unlocked as you work through. You start adding these little pieces, and then others you have to build. So like this one, we have to build it. So we have to pull all the pieces in, and it'll build right in the cytoskeleton, and then I'll be able to bring that into the cell. And then it loads, and then we scroll down here. So this really gives the students a 3D image, right, to be able to see what these, like the Golgi apparatus, to see what it actually looks like in space. Because when you look at it on a in a two-dimensional format, whether it's a book or it's a picture or a website, it doesn't necessarily give you a good representation of what that looks like. So as we go through and build it, I really like that the endoplasmic reticulum, that's one of those that really, I don't think that anyone really understands how much space that actually takes up, because when you look at it on paper, it just looks like a bunch of squiggly lines. But here they can see what this stuff really looks like, and you can see that it's taken up space, and it's not just this little circle that's got some stuff floating around in it. So as we get the mitochondria in here, it's kind of cool. You'll see them kind of swim around. Which is another cool aspect. So once we get everything brought in here, and you start building the cells, so they definitely get a representation, get a feeling for how the cell is built. It'll tell us congratulations, and then we can always click back through and get a feeling for what the notes are, and we can add to our notes. All right, so the other one that I want to show you is build a body. And once again, we can choose different levels, so we can look at the digestive system and respiratory system. I chose respiratory system because it's relatively simple, not as many pieces as the digestive system. So what you can do is you just grab the particular piece and you just bring it over and you put it in place, and it goes. If you happen to bring it and put it in the wrong location, it's not going to let it go. So you bring it over, put it right where it needs to go, and it gets added, and you're building the anatomy there. So we get the lungs in there, and then we can come down here. We'll add the diaphragm below the lungs, and we can add the pleura, which is that coating over the top of the lungs. And then your last thing is this rib cage. We're going to bring it up, and again it tells us congratulations, and then we can work through, and you can go back through everything and look at the notes and see where you're at. So like I said before, a lot of interactive tools that are really good for the students to be able to get their hands on. They can always refresh it, go back in there, build a new cell, build a new body, and drill those pieces, so that they really learn it on their own time. And it's really interactive, and it's kind of fun for the students. So with that being said, the ISTE standard for students that I believe this represents is S1C, and that states that students use technology to seek feedback that informs and improves their practice and to demonstrate their learning in a variety of ways. So these are feedback mechanisms, right? When I'm building the cell and I'm building the body, it gives me that feedback of I'm putting it in the right place, I'm getting that information as I'm interacting, and I'm demonstrating what I know as I work through it, and the faster that I can get through those and work on those. All right, and then the other ISTE standard for educators is E6B, and that is manage the use of technology and student learning strategies in a digital platform, in virtual environments, hands-on maker spaces, or in the field. And clearly we are managing the use of technology for this and the student learning using a digital platform and virtual environments when we get into those simulations. So again, that is what I would use Spongelab for and why I chose it. And I appreciate you listening. Thank you.